green room. From the green room.
From the green room. With Galen motherfucking Distant.
From the green room.
With Galen Distant.
Hey motherfuckers, Galen here from the Green Room podcast is what you're listening to. I'm from the band Pickwick. We just released our new record, Love Joys, available iTunes, Spotify, all that business, so please pick it up. In addition, you can contact the team we've assembled around From the Green Room podcast at... the website is fromthegreenroompodcast.com. So we post MP3s of the podcast there, so you can listen there. And then if you would like to contact us, fromthegreenroompod@gmail.com. Because some slimy motherfucker already took the From the Green Room podcast @gmail.com. So email us fromthegreenroompod@gmail.com with ideas for, any feedback you got, we'll take it. But then also ideas for people that you'd like to see interviewed. Whatever you want to tell us. You want to just, complain? That's okay too. But we'd like to know that there's someone listening. Please, baby Jesus. Okay. I had the pleasure of interviewing Daniel Blue of the band Motopony. We had a show at the Tractor Tavern early on, Pickwick did, and I remember interacting with Daniel and just getting a good vibe from him, kind of a shamanistic, strange guy. Enjoyed him, but he's also, he puts off good vibes. So it's good to finally connect with him on the podcast and get the state of Motopony today. So here it is. So my son has sleep apnea.
Whoa, that's
where he needs the
harsh.
mask.
Were you kidding?
Yeah, he's 8 years old. It's like, and it has nothing to do with his weight or allergies or whatever. He's like,
He's just got like a weird nose flap.
Yeah, he's a skinny kid, and he's got a weird, like, the contour of the roof of his mouth means that his oxygen level drops like dangerously low at night.
Right.
And he wakes up with the fight or flight.
Yeah.
So we got him this mask, and now it's good, but it's a short-term solution because it can also like restrict growth.
Wow,
like at
weird.
night,
Yeah.
Right? It's fucking weird. But it helps him sleep now, and he's sleeping, and he never slept really good his whole life. It was awful.
Huh.
So I went and I got a sleep study. The lady was like, "You have it." And I was like, okay, because my dad has it and my son has it. I'm like, okay, so it's hereditary. I must have sleep apnea. Go in there. I do a sleep study. No sleep apnea. But then she's like, you have this other thing called hypersomnia, which means that you're excessively tired during the day.
Okay.
And I was like, but you're getting like 85% restorative sleep. And I was like, well, isn't that like fucking everybody? Like there's a whole 5-hour energy, industry. Everybody's drinking Monster drinks all day. But then she was like, no. She was like, nobody could fall asleep and take in a nap and go to REM sleep like you 5 times a day in 2-hour increments like you can. And I was like, okay, whatever.
Wow, you take
I don't take any naps,
day.
but this dude in the lab,
study showed that you were...
No, they put me to sleep for these naps.
Oh.
During the day. So I had to stay at a sleep study at night and then over the next day. So then I was like, okay, well, what do you suggest? What can you do to treat this? And she was like, Adderall. And I was like, well, lady, I can get Adderall from my ADD doctor, but I don't like taking the Adderall. I don't want to take Adderall all the time.
Yeah.
So I went to a naturopath.
Okay.
She took my blood, and she was like, your cortisol level's high.
Yeah, lots of stress.
Stress.
Yeah.
Have you done that before? With the naturopath and the high cortisol?
No, but I did get prescribed Adderall, and it was a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a big mess.
Did you take it?
Oh, I took all of it.
Like all at once?
I
or-
took as much of it as I could fit in my mouth.
What made you stop?
Insanity. You
Just
know.
like we took too much. And
Yeah,
went nuts.
pretty much. I like turned into like a bad person. You know, it was like there was just everything got real dark. It kind of was. You know, I was watching the Harry Potter series again recently, and you know the Dementors.
Wait, I don't know, but wait. Okay, pause real quick. Then let's really start. Okay. Cool, baby. Okay. Tell me about the Dementors.
Well, first of all, did you know that you're the first grown man that ever called me baby? And it happened at Dobay Festival. And the Cave Singers were supposed to play, and then they ended up getting to record with Big Deal.
Was it
What's that
Albini?
guy? No, Everybody Wants to Wood. No. Shit. Now I'm screwing this story up.
I don't know who
it's
that is.
important.
Well, it's Albini. Let's just say Albini, but that's just a placeholder.
Okay, yeah.
Until it'll come to you.
Quote fingers. Albini.
Okay, so
The alibi of all producers.
Albini alibi.
Alabanini. Anyway, and so they pulled you in, and
Yeah.
you saved the day. And I saw the show, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is kind of great." I was like, "I really," and I saw you up by the like shower bathrooms, and I was like, "Hey, I really thought that was great." And you were like, "Thanks, baby." And I was like, it gave me a weird feeling, not like a homophobic feeling, or not
Yeah.
like a, but I was like.
Like I was infantilizing you? in a straight-
No, and I can't describe it. It wasn't a bad, negative feeling.
It's just not the kind
It
of
was
word
just
that
like,
a man should use to address another man.
I'm not even going to go that far. I'm just going to tell you, it was the first time it happened to me, and it stuck. I was like, he called me baby.
Well, how did you
kinda
feel?
like it.
How did you kind of liked
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
I was like, I felt embraced.
Yeah, I mean, well, it is a term of endearment.
Yeah, I felt endeared.
Okay, and I'll just be honest, and I'm just passing along the ways of my crazy Uncle Willie, who's actually my wife's uncle, and he was a railroad engineer. So he drove the train for
He was a
like
conductor.
no, did I fuck up the words? No, I'm using the right words. The conductor's the guy that takes the tickets.
Oh,
The engineer's the guy who drives the train.
okay, fair enough.
So he's driving the train for 30 fucking years or whatever. He lives in Berkeley. He's wearing his overalls. He's got like Tupperware full of fruit that he prepared the night before. And when I was in college, we would go to his house for Thanksgiving because I
Okay.
went to school in Santa Cruz and then he was right in Berkeley. So it was closer than going to Southern California. And as soon as I showed up, he was like, "Galen, baby." So that's, it just always stuck with me.
Yeah,
because
that's great.
he was a grown man, just real tall, and he's still alive, lanky, and he called me baby. So
Uncle Willie.
I just passed on that feeling.
Yeah.
My favorite, I have a lot of weird Uncle Willie stories, but on one of those Thanksgiving days, he has this custom, I think every day, because like they don't have kids and stuff, and he's this like retired railroad engineer. So he went out on Thanksgiving to go get a latte. And he was real bugged that like the place in Berkeley that he liked was closed.
Right.
So he had to go to Starbucks.
Oh.
And then he was like, "Oh man." It's just like it's just like I think I probably was in the passenger seat, but I feel like I was in the back seat with my wife. Like he was just this crazy man driving us. Like the worst Uber driver or whatever.
He was real upset.
Except you don't get to choose a destination. You just get into
Just
an
along
Uber
for the
where the
ride.
driver's taking you wherever the driver wants to take you. So he's taking us to the Starbucks, and he just goes, "Oh man, if they don't, if I can't get a latte today, I'm gonna be really bummed." And then he gets the latte, and he's just like sitting out like on some table or whatever with us, and just out of his mouth, he just goes, "Oh, don't give me no bullshit, mama."
He just starts
That's like
singing a railroad song.
But it's just his default song that he made up. Just like, don't give me no bullshit, mom. He's a crazy person, but yeah. So
Well,
that's
thanks,
where I
Willie.
got. That's where I got.
Willie baby.
That's where I got the baby thing from. I've never called him Willie baby though. I don't know. I guess it's just. I don't know. Maybe it's not transferable, but
Yeah.
I'm glad you felt embraced.
No, it was nice. Yeah. It just, I felt like I was in.
Well, I feel in with this bone broth that you brought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, trigger warning to all the vegans listening in.
Yeah.
It's a process. I felt like a witch doctor today making it. Plus, it was so hot in my apartment.
Yeah. We got the ovens and it's hot.
Yeah, and it was just boiling and boiling and boiling, and the bones are kind of rattling in the bottom of the pan, and it's just like, huh. Yeah, and then somebody knocked on my door, and I forgot I didn't have pants on. It was my friend Alex, and I just opened the door, and I'm just like drenched in sweat, and was like just frazzled, and I was just like, what? He was like, whoa, what the fuck is going on? Excuse me.
He's like, rattle them bones.
Yeah, he's like, what are you doing in here? It's like reeks of like,
He's like, it's Monday. I
Colleges.
do what I do.
making 8 gallons of bone broth, man.
Okay, but earlier you and I were talking about how Adderall has made us feel kind of psychotic.
Oof, yeah.
But I would actually add sativa. I've had some bad weed sativa bouts where that has made me feel totally psychotic.
I mean, I've been just, full disclosure, I've been sober for a year and a half now.
Yeah.
Off everything except for, sometimes I dabble in some nicotine and caffeine.
Yeah.
But, I
big deal.
love...
Year and a half.
I love altered states of consciousness.
Yeah.
I mean, I really, since I was a kid, I'm looking for what's behind
Yeah.
the looking glass. I want through to the other side.
How old are we talking? What was your first experiences with drugs?
I was a good kid till I moved out of my parents' house when I was 18 and into a garage down the street.
Did they know this garage? They knew
My
you were there?
parents?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they didn't come visit, but
Okay.
It was literally like a half a mile away from their house. I moved in with some buddies from school that I didn't know very well, and and then just started eating drugs.
Yeah.
I think the first drug I did was LSD, and moved on from there. And I wasn't even drinking at the time. I just wanted to know what was outside of the bubble.
Yeah.
But I think previous to that, I've had some pretty unique experiences on the spirituality front. So
Yeah.
it was like I knew something was out there.
Right. So you were seeking it.
Yeah.
You're looking
I've
for
always
it.
sort of been a seeker, for sure. I think... So, anyway, I didn't feel like Adderall was necessarily a psychedelic experience, but I think I could be very seriously diagnosed with a
Yeah.
attention deficit. Most anyone who grew up watching Saturday morning cartoons probably has
or
some
Ren
like
and Stimpy.
serious, yeah,
Or Beavis and Butthead.
right. There's like they programmed us to need these pills.
Yeah.
But it did. I mean, the first day I took it, I literally was weeping. I was just like, oh my,
Because it felt like so good and right, or because...
yeah, and when I could hold my present self and my memory in the same mind at the same time,
Wow.
and I could see. It was like I could see my own story, and I found it touching.
Huh.
And,
On
and
Adderall.
it like
And that
it
was
made
a
me
new
weep.
That was a new experience on Adderall.
Yeah, I think so. And and as a performer, it was just like, oh, I can hold the audience and the song and my moves in the same.
Right.
I don't have to check out and lose consciousness in order to do this job. I can actually be here and be conscious of everything and sort of like, and that worked, and for probably a couple months, and then it was like, yeah, but you don't sleep or eat,
Right.
Yeah, and but you're also like,
Right.
now you're like mixing it with trucker pills and like cold medicine, and now you're making, you know, it was just, it
Right.
opened up, like, it took all inhibition out of the question. You know, anything I saw, it made me very impulsive.
Yeah.
Made me very like, yes, I will run headlong into this hole in the ground. Let's do
Right,
it. You
right.
know, that's what I wanted. So it really changed my personality, and I think made me very, very selfish.
Yeah.
And very hungry, and you know, this was like sort of the end of the line for me, and it was probably a good thing in the long run, because I think after crossing that line, I was kind of couldn't come back to just casual drug use again. So it's like been nice to just be like, yeah,
So that
done.
like brings us up to the present. So the Adderall takes you to a year and a half ago
yeah,
when you really, that was a catalyst for you getting clean.
oh yeah, I was losing it, and I wanted to sober up, because that's how I sort of had regained my sanity in the past. You know, throughout my life, I think I've sort of ebbed and flowed in and out of like pretty dangerous,
Yeah.
you know, consumption pattern.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't realize. I think I was in denial about the Adderall, because I was like, "Oh yeah, well, I'll just quit.
Right.
I'll quit everything else, but I need this. This is medicine. Like, this was
Right.
prescribed to me.
Totally.
You know, it was like, it was a hard thing to let go and admit was like a part of the problem, if not the cause of like everything else becoming a problem.
Did you get the Adderall from Height House, the doctor on South Lake Union?
No, is that a source?
Yeah.
No, I got it from my freaking naturopath.
They can prescribe. A naturopath can prescribe.
She's a half and
Adderall?
half.
So
She's
she
a
can do
half.
both.
Yeah.
Well,
An MD, ND,
yeah.
which is a funny thing to try and. I think, but yeah, she could do both.
Well, you're basically there with the bones rattling today.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm my own naturopathic doctor.
So-
I take some ginseng and some
I mean, you seem good.
hawthorn.
How's the past year and a half been?
Hard,
Yeah.
yeah, but necessary.
Yeah.
I was just texting someone today, and like asking for some patience and some forgiveness, because I feel like the way I could put it was like, I abused my body so much that my soul kind of left. And it's taken my soul like a while to like
Return.
feel comfortable coming back and like sitting in the,
Yeah.
you know, in this with me.
You feel like it's coming back now?
Yeah, no, I really do. And I feel a lot more whole, and I'm incredibly glad for the relationships who remained have been, you know, patient, and my life is 1,000 times better than it was, to be honest. I have so much more peace. I'm way less stress, way less cortisol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your cortisol level has lowered.
Yeah.
The shingles have cleared.
Cleared up the shings. Yeah.
Okay.
Being on stage was so hard.
Before?
Yeah.
Like
Like
you were afraid.
6 months in.
Oh, yeah.
I
without it.
couldn't do it. I was just
Yeah.
like, I'd look at my tuning pedal and be like, I don't know which way that peg
Well, what
is
was...
supposed to turn. You know, like there were just these moments where I would run into my inability to like
Right.
use my brain.
Right.
And it was difficult to like kind of coming back from that place of, you know, all the lights being on all the time.
Because, and not just with Adderall, there's other substances that enabled you to be on stage in the past.
Not when I started, but yeah, I mean, I definitely got to a place where I was just like, I wanted, you know, a puff of marijuana, and
Right.
I wanted a fresh pill of Adderall, and I think I definitely would have liked to have had a couple of shots of whiskey in me, and then I'd probably smoke a pack of cigarettes up to the moment I had to get on stage.
Yeah.
All that just to manage the emotional, you know,
So
and just to feel like
Yeah.
confident
Yeah.
that I was gonna do
I mean,
good.
That's no small feat, though. You know, like,
Overcoming stage fright.
well, just feeling confident on stage.
Yeah.
That's like a huge, you know, I think it like, I don't know if I've mentioned this before on the podcast, but I did, like the time we played Sasquatch, I didn't feel nervous.
Yeah,
I just was hanging out. But then as soon as I got on stage, like,
it hit you.
well, no, it wasn't like even a feeling. I think I was so disconnected from the feeling. It just was physically manifested as a really tight neck and throat.
Yeah.
You know, so like I just couldn't hit high notes.
Oh man.
And I was just, I needed to do like that body check where I like would scan
Yeah.
from top down and sort of. So,
It's hard to give yourself permission to do that
yeah.
in the middle of a, song.
Yeah. But I think too, like now, now with I think I'm just now getting more comfortable with the new material
Yeah.
on stage. And so I'm starting to like open my eyes, but I keep my eyes closed like up till now, the record's like been out for like a month locally,
Yeah.
when we play. It's still scary.
People always accuse me of giving them the crazy eyes.
Your eyes are too open.
Yeah. But not that it's like a bad thing, but like I hear that like, oh, he
What do
look
you-
out for Daniel Blue's crazy eyes when
What
he's
do you
singing.
get when
Well,
you're
I'm
when
just
you're
looking
Yeah,
at nothing.
you're
You
not
know.
looking at someone directly.
Yeah, and one dude was like, "You were looking at me, and then I moved to another part of the room, and your
found me."
eyes followed me. It's just like you wouldn't stop staring at me." I was like, "Dude, I wasn't looking
But
at
wait-
you. I can't see shit."
But wait, when did this dude tell you this? Was this at the merch booth? He's like, you found me and I loved it, and now I'm buying the T-shirt.
No, it was a friend who just was. Someone had written "Crazy Eyes," and I was
Okay.
talking about it, and he was like, "No, it's true." And then he told me his experience with the crazy eyes.
Okay, so how did your kind of newfound lack of confidence on stage manifest related to the eyes? Do you still do the eyes? Do you...
I don't know. I see pictures of myself and I'm just like, holy crap! Like
Because the
that
crazy
dude
eyes?
is in it,
Yeah.
Like it's like shoving a hot dog down my throat, holding that microphone. Like I look like if you replace the microphone with a hot dog,
Yeah,
it looks like I'm about to push
yeah.
a whole foot long hot dog like into my intestine.
You got the space. That's
Yeah.
cool. All right. So you're like a competitive hot dog
Up-
eating
Yeah.
performer at any point.
Yeah.
Because the talent is
It's like
transferable.
I could swallow this whole mic stand.
Oh, that was good. Wait, but so this is even new, Daniel.
I think
6
so.
month Daniel.
No, so 6 month Daniel was like, I fired my band. I'm doing solo.
Right.
I went to Abbey Road and like talked to the Irishman who
Yeah.
was gonna get me famous over there. And
Right.
I was a real, I was doing my own thing. And then I got booked this show opening for Lou Doylan. I know I'm mispronouncing that. She's a French model, singer, songwriter, and she's big deal.
Okay.
And open for her, and I like go out there on stage by myself, and I'm just like I don't
Whoa.
belong here.
Was this here in the States?
Yeah, I did one show at the Triple Door and then one show at Bimbo's in San Francisco.
Cool.
And they both were awful, man. It was like they were bad for me,
Wow.
like trauma.
Yeah.
Bad, like I'm thinking about the kids who hated me, and like anytime like that one girl who knew I was a bad guy and found out and told somebody else. You know what I mean? Like these are the
Like your personal history is
just
like coming up while you're on
yeah,
stage.
and then and I can't find the song, and I can't
Yeah.
work the guitar well, and I'm
Just
like,
a lot
I'm
going
just
on.
I'm screwed,
Yeah.
and very just ashamed of like that I would even try
To perform.
to like pretend that I've got this. What a shame. Like this guy ripping everybody off. Like those are the thoughts going through my head. Like they found out.
Right.
They finally found out I'm like a sham.
So did you feel like, the substances before would sort of quiet those? Or you'd like stay ahead of them? Or you just had like more momentum or speed mentally?
I think that's always been there. I think the first time
That just
I
sounds...
started going...
Maybe it's too that you had, it was solo. How long
Yeah.
had it been since you played solo? Because
I
that's
don't
pretty
know.
heavy too.
If I look at like... I started writing songs at 27.
Mm-hmm.
And I went from fashion designer to like... we were signed by Tiny Ogre
Right.
within a year.
Yeah.
It was very fast, and then all of a sudden I'm being put, in this position. And I was sober then, ish.
Yeah, so what year is this?
This is, whoa.
You can say it.
I'm just like blanking. We put
Like
out a record
2009?
in 2009, and then Tiny Ogre picked it up and re-released it, I think, in 2010 or 11. I think
Okay.
it took them a year, so it was 2011 when they dropped that record.
And for people who are not familiar, I mean, Tiny Ogre was the brainchild of that guy. Was his name Will?
No, Will was a part of it. Steve.
Okay, so it
Steven?
was like a label that was an arm of another label that,
Yeah, it was.
but it's no longer.
They were really, really beautiful people. Steve
Yeah.
Lerner was, I think, the main dude, and he had he surrounded himself with some partners, and they had like scored with the Evanescence and Creed and
And that was
Finger
all,
11, and
that was all under Tiny Ogre.
no, that was another record label called Wind Up,
Okay.
but they, sold off their shares in that company or whatever, and then decided that they were going to do this, pioneer this kind of like new 360 deal idea. And they paid our health insurance, and we were on a stipend. And yeah, like the King of Diamonds video was definitely like a $50,000 endeavor. And, there was a lot.
Was that shot in Vegas?
Yeah. They flew like a team of 25 people, including the band, to Vegas.
It was a sexy video.
It was really fun.
Yeah.
And they were like, when they were planning it, the director was like, well, why don't we do Reno? Because it's just like, and I like put my foot down for the first time. And I was just like,
Vegas or nothing.
why would we go for, I want the
Bastard
best.
child of Vegas.
Yeah, I want the very best. Like, it would have been less of a video if it wasn't, but whatever.
I mean, this is an interesting story. How did you get connected with Tiny Ogre?
KEXP. Yeah, John Richards, period.
So John Richards was playing your Motopony record.
At the time, he was bouncing back and forth between Seattle and New York, and
Right.
there was a sort of New York affiliate where he would do like his show, and he was a champion of some of the early Motopony songs.
Yeah.
And so because Tiny Ogre was a New York outfit, so yeah, so because it was getting played over there, they like dug us up. And I remember we got the email, and I think it was either my manager or Buddy Ross was just like, "Who's this joker?" Like, what the heck is this? And
was it the manager that Buddy Josiah was living with down in LA recently, or that I met?
Ryan Crace?
Yeah.
No.
So this was a
Early
previous
on,
manager.
Yeah, early on we hooked up with this guy Tom Gimbel in Austin, and he went on to like sort of be the general manager of Austin City Limits, the show and the festival. So
Wow.
he got real busy. Right, it's sort of as that first iteration of the band was kind of breaking up after Tiny Ogre folded. Josiah went to go work with Frank Ocean.
Yeah.
Tom Gimbel was kind of like, I'm pretty busy. I think technically we asked him to leave, but I don't, everything was just falling apart and just got sticky.
How long after you'd gotten that, initial email, we want to re-release the record, we want to pioneer this new 360 deal? I mean, that's kind of amazing. I mean, was that you're a fashion designer who just started playing some music, and then all of a sudden somebody offers to pay your health insurance and like give you a living wage?
Yeah.
Doing something that's new and exciting that you are dabbling in. That's pretty incredible.
I had a lot of really crazy feelings about that. I had wanted to be a musician since I was young, but didn't have any chops. Didn't know I was a songwriter. I kind of like through my 20s was hammering on this like chord organ, sort of doing a Daniel Johnson impression, but so many of my friends had been spending the last 10 to 15 years,
Right.
Moving to Nashville with their family and, it ruining their marriage. And then,
Right.
like there's just that story was happening and people were like putting it in.
Yeah.
And I was really diligently following the guidance of like my higher power.
Yeah.
And felt like fashion design was the thing.
Yeah.
And it was a prelude to music. And then when it was time to flip, like I got the message and I did it and it worked. It's just like I knew I was on this path
Yeah.
step by step. And but I felt really guilty about it. I felt like I just totally didn't deserve it. Because it was successful, and I hadn't put in the time musically. I had been very diligently from the age of 19 making every decision in my life, according to something beyond myself, and it worked. But like for whatever reason, I felt like that wasn't the prescription that allowed you to like accept success. And I really was worried that I was a fraud, and that everyone was going to figure it out.
Wow.
Yeah.
So like even though this serendipitous chain of events is coming together, that wasn't convincing enough to you.
No, there were moments, of course, where I remember we met our manager, and I went on this trip into the woods, and I was like, felt like I really connected with the master of the universe, and felt really loved, and was very excited to take the risks required to like launch myself. I moved from Tacoma to Seattle based on that.
And that's where you grew
those
up?
feelings. That's where I kind of found my voice as an artist. Yeah.
Cool.
I was there for like 7 years. So, it was both. Like, I also felt like this is happening and it's amazing and wonderful.
Yeah. But you felt.
But I was terrified.
You were nervous.
I was very nervous. But I think the reason I bring that up is that I was sober during that time, and I had to learn how to calm myself down.
Yeah.
And get on stage and do my job.
Right.
And those first tours were sort of about that. And I remember kind of getting to this moment at South by Southwest where I had like a psychotic break.
Yeah.
After a show because I choked. I had that same thing happen where I got up there and like my chest got tight and I like couldn't sing on key. Like I forgot how my instrument worked, and I was scared. Yeah. And that fear manifested itself really made us look bad. And then we're like, it was like the biggest show we had played at that time. There were like 3,000 industry people there at this ad thing. It was so dumb. And everyone was eating tacos instead of watching the band. And I like fucking lost it and went backstage. And there was a cop car blocking the way to go with its lights on. And that freaked me out. And then this woman, the stage manager, was like yelling at us to get our gear past this cop that was blocking the way.
Weird.
And Brantley, for whatever reason, was just chilling, drinking a beer. And I was like, Brantley, help me carry this stuff. Brantley, help me carry this stuff. Brantley. And then lights flashed. I saw the face of my mother and the face of my grandfather. And I go, and I heard my voice over the PA.
I think I just got a glimpse of the crazy house.
Oh, yeah, you saw the crazy house? I heard my voice echo off this building like louder than the sound system was pumping. It was just like, and I like almost passed out because I had yelled my bandmate's name. And so I just like grabbed my gear, threw it over a fence and like put it in the trailer and locked the trailer and like left. And then kind of came to this realization that like, if I can't have fun,
right,
what am I doing?
For sure.
If I can enjoy this thing that's being created, and that was a lot of that was Mike Nodder kind of like sat us down in the van and was like, why are we here at South by Southwest if we don't like this? And
Nodder was in the band. This was with Josiah?
Yeah, this was like
as part of the first
kind of the.
Because you hadn't had the second record out yet, right?
No.
Okay, cool. So Nodder was in there early.
Yeah, he came on pretty quickly after we got signed with Tiny Ogre.
Cool. Yeah. So for reference, Mike Nodder's one of the window washers that learned me up.
Yeah.
Was famous for the band Shim.
Micah Simler also is in Shim.
Who's now the Crystal Panes guru, which is the window washing company. He's the leader.
It's amazing. It's kind of like a cult.
It's a total cult.
Yeah.
Man. It's a total cult. A window washing
Mike
cult.
Mike Anishi's cult.
So Nodder to me is sort of like this, Yeah, he's like a very calming kind of.
He's a stand-up dude. Yeah, he's got a lot of like very Spock-like logical wisdom to offer the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Forrest was telling me, who was your ex-drummer.
Also washes windows.
He was telling me about like one of the ways you would tease Nodder, just like by something stupid about his name. Something like...
he would suggest something and I would be like, you're right. I could drink the bone broth out of that glass. I might do it or I might Nodder.
And he just like had no patience for that.
He
after
really
a while.
did not like that joke after. He didn't like anything that wasn't funny anymore logically, but what was funny because you remembered that when it was funny. Like, he didn't have patience for stuff that was just nostalgic. He wanted
you
meat.
to brave new
comedic
comedic ground. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so cool. So you're sitting in the van with Nodder, and he is offering some words of wisdom. We're here for fun, to do this for fun. Why are we doing this if it's a fucking stress out?
Yeah, if you're going to lose your mind and disappear all night, you know, and like go, what, God, I don't even want to discuss what I did. I met a football player, but I had eaten like a pound of weed butter. But I met like someone from the NFL whose name I don't remember, like, and his wife. And I was like upstairs at this random party. You know, I got lost.
That's
I did
fantastic.
the gypsy, like, get lost thing.
Wow.
But, yeah, the next day he was just like, you know, and it made sense to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're right. And I think from then on, I just approached it like I didn't care as much. And it's not that I didn't care.
Right.
But I just didn't.
You just didn't hold so tightly.
I also started smoking cigarettes.
And that helped a little bit?
Oh, my God.
It's coming together.
It was... Yeah.
That's what this is all about, man. Just sort of putting the pieces together. Yeah.
I think it was kind of the beginning of me not being sober, was cigarettes. It was really the gateway drug to like me. But there was a period there where I was just like, I would show up to the show and I would sing, and I could care less if you liked it.
Yeah.
It was about me enjoying it.
Yeah, you're doing your thing.
I'm doing my thing. And I got really good at that idea.
Yeah.
You know, and then fast forward to like Pune, India, and there's 15,000 people there.
Which is amazing that you guys got to go there. And
I'm on like a combination of Adderall and an Indian version of Adderall and cold medicine and an Indian version of cold medicine. And I was like doubling up all the American and Indian like versions of drugs. Yeah. And I just smoked a carton of, you know, like Bengal Royal cigarettes, and like definitely was on whiskey and wine. And I have like very little memory of that show because I was so chill. And because I'm so chill and good at my job.
But that was probably, you must feel some sadness about that, not being fully present there. Because that was probably I've heard from Forrest and from Mike that was one of the highlights of, you know, your guys' touring experience.
I have a very jarring memory of that night.
Yeah.
Where I crawled up on the barrier between, you know, the audience and like the 6-foot moat.
Right.
You know, there's like that barrier, and then there's a moat, and then there's the stage.
Yeah.
I like jumped across and then was standing on the fence and like singing Seer, like the high part of Seer.
Yeah.
And then I like looked and I was like, okay, there's a big guy. He's definitely like got the like girth to catch me.
Okay.
I sort of nodded at him, and he like kind of like gave me the like, yeah, I'm ready for you.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, sweet. So I just like jumped and turned my back in the air.
Ooh.
And everybody moved out of the way. Like they didn't know what crowd surfing was.
Oh my God.
Or just thought I was going to do a backflip. I landed on my back on a swath of sidewalk that was like dividing the festival grounds.
Did you hurt yourself?
No. That's the amazing thing. Is that I was so chill.
It's the Indian kratom, man.
I was just like, had no fear. And so I just knocked the wind out of myself from like 6 feet in the air. That's what I remember about that show. The rest of it's kind of like a pretty blurry mess, you know, of me like actually like trying to get, it was all about, you know, just getting more. How do I get more out of this? How do I get more out of this? How do I get more? And that's selfish, impulsive, selfish cycle is what leads me to the Dementors.
Which is the Harry Potter character. So I'm only reading it with my son. So I'm one book in, and then a little bit into the second book. So you can I'm into spoilers though.
Okay,
some people are really anti. I'm into.
I'll explain it to you, Galen, even though everyone else who's listening to this podcast knows what the Dementors are.
Sorry,
but
I'm a little behind. I'm 20 years behind. Whatever.
There's a magical prison called Azkaban, where like
Is this like book 3?
Well,
Who cares?
4 maybe.
You read the books too, Garrett? Because I've only seen the first movie.
So, but there's a magical prison called
I'm
Azkaban,
totally pure.
and there's a magical creature that they use to sort of torment and keep the prison, and they're called Dementors, and they have sort of they're like ghostly bodies. They're very long and slender and wispy with like rags, you know, sort of think like Ebenezer Scrooge ghosts era.
Whoa.
And they come and they sort of get over your mouth and they incapacitate you, and then they suck virtually your soul out of your body. And there's this point where either Harry or one of the kids is describing what it feels like, and it's just like as if all the joy and warmth and happiness are sucked out of the world.
Yeah.
And I was rewatching the movies, and I was like, that's like where I got.
Yeah.
Whereas like everything was fake and gray. And it was because I was keep trying to get more out of the situation, and then I'd get what I was after, and it didn't work. And then I'd get what I was after, and it didn't work. And so I developed this idea that everything was a false advertisement, that there was no satisfaction and there was no feeling. And I couldn't feel. And it was as if, you know, all the love and life and light and goodness had been sucked out of my world. Like I was either suffering because I was going through some type of withdrawal, or I was chasing, kind of knowing that I wasn't going to get what I wanted, or I had gotten it and it wasn't working, you know, and it just like that became this incredibly just terrible place.
And so that was a year and a half ago, or that was even before that, or?
I'd say like I was probably on my way to or in that zone for like, you know, 9 months.
Yeah.
Up to when I just like really broke and was like kind of hit a bottom and was like, okay, like I'm going to lose it all if I don't, you know, figure this out.
So one of the things I really admire about you is I feel like you and me have kind of been plugging along. You know, like I remember, I think it was 2009 at Sonic Boom, seeing your record cover, seeing the Campfire OK record cover. And I don't even think we had anything out yet.
Okay.
You know, so I feel like you've been at it for a long time in the same way that I've been at it for a long time.
Yeah, I've admired that about you too. Like, even when I knew you were working on it, you were working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, you know, for people that are not familiar, with your band, because from my perspective, you've gone through kind of 3 different incarnations that I've seen of Motopony to you know, get us to the present day.
Yeah.
And you texted me about sort of the origin story of Motopony, which I thought was interesting. And let me kind of paraphrase it, and then you fill in the gaps.
Okay.
But, you know, you were talking about like embodying, you know, material objects with like a positivity.
Sure. We'll say that.
You massage it. You could phrase it. But it included a motorcycle that you were working on.
Yeah, it's the...
But this, you know, it's kind of this idea of putting out positivity and putting out sort of...
I think more than putting out positivity, it's the idea that this can of LaCroix...
Yep, the coconut kind that's room temperature. ...is
alive. Because it's a part of this life.
Yeah.
And it perceives me. Because if I crinkle it, it stays crinkle.
Yeah.
I leave an impression on it.
Right.
And therefore, like, my interactions with this can of soda matter. And I can care for it. Mm-hmm. I'd say, you know, I mean, that's like a gross oversimplification, but... But
it's like a real, like, mindfulness about being present.
Right.
It's sort of like the opposite of where you ended up.
Yeah, it's true.
Right.
I did. It's sort of like the thing where I like named my band this idea of like care about your motorcycle, personify your motorcycle, and then like
interact with your motorcycle, like be, you know, in the moment with your motorcycle.
Right. I named it a pony because I wanted it to be alive to me.
Yeah.
I wanted to have a relationship with it.
Yeah.
You know, even if just an imaginary one, and it changed the way I used it.
Yeah.
And instead of just using things, I interacted with them and like belonged to them.
Yeah. That makes sense to me. I don't really know why it does, but
Yeah.
It
It's
does.
like, it worked out, this is pretty metaphysical stuff.
yeah.
There's an ancient Jewish tradition of, I think this is like ancient Jewish mysticism where like God's wife is this thing called Shekinah, and it was represented in this crystalline perfection, and that crystal was shattered, and all of those shards came down to the universe, and they're imbued into all of creation.
Yeah.
And so by sweeping the floor with reverence to Shekinah and to, before God, as it were, the creator God, then you're releasing this Shekinah. It's called the Shekinah glory. You're releasing that out of, it's trapped in these things.
Yeah.
And you're like, bringing God back into a perfect union of like the balance of male and female. And it, you find it in shamanism. You can find it in a lot of the old, but this idea of like intentionally, interacting with life and creation and being mindful of your interactions and how you're treating things, I think is the point. So yeah, I named my band this thing, Motopony, after calling my motorcycle a pony in order to try this out.
But I mean, you're a fashion designer that rides a motorcycle. That's pretty fucking cool. You're already like at a pretty cool starting point. Did you know how to work on motorcycles? How did you get this motorcycle?
I bought it on Craigslist. And
Had you
actually,
ever-
I
had
bought
you
the
ever
same
ridden one?
bike. I bought this. I decided I wanted this because there was this one in an old barn. I was dating this girl that lived out on Port Angeles. Her grandpa lived out there. She was
Yeah.
from New Zealand, but she would come and stay with her grandpa. And I found one in an old barn. It's a Honda Trail 90. That one was. And it didn't run. And I was like, if I make this run,
Yeah.
can I ride on it?
Yeah.
Around your barn?
Yeah.
And the dude was like, whatever you want to do. Don't make out with my granddaughter. I was like, cool. So I with my small engine, lawnmower repair skills that my stepdad forced me to have, which I resented every moment of, I took this
Wow.
Honda Trail apart and soaked the carburetor and put it back together.
Wow.
Kind of like a clockmaker. But
Not to toot my own horn.
not to rev my own engine or anything, but and it ran. Little known to me, those are the simplest
Still,
and
it's
most hardcore little tractor engines in the universe. But
It's
I
a
fell
major-
in love with that
Yeah.
Honda Trail 90. And so for years I was saving up to get one.
Yeah.
And eventually I think I just borrowed money from my stepdad and bought one. And because I couldn't seem to save any money being a fashion designer. I wasn't making a lot.
That's amazing. So you rode this motorcycle from Tacoma to Seattle?
But that's no, that did not happen. With everything I owned on my back.
And you'd already been signed to Tiny Ogre at that point?
No,
On the motorcycle?
man, we're getting into who knows what the narrative is. I was not signed when I moved to Seattle. I knew that I had to leave Tacoma, which was
Yeah.
a bummer because I loved it there.
Yeah.
But I knew I couldn't make it.
Yeah.
It wasn't enough
Yeah.
of there wasn't enough of a support system there for me. And a lot of that was people were like, dude, you're a fashion designer and you're playing a broken 3-string guitar. Get out of here.
Yeah.
It's not even tuned right. It's like, yeah, okay, but listen to this song about madness,
But that tuning's on your first record, right?
Yeah.
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 All the songs or just some of the songs?
Wait for me. I go up a step and down a step with the top and bottom string. So it's
When you're playing that, when you covered that Hallelujah song at the Round, that video, you weren't playing guitar, were you?
I was just singing. No, it was Nodder and Annalisa and Fidelia who were kind
Singing.
of holding down the
Yeah.
doom 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 doom.
For what it's worth, I think I told you this before, but that's one of the most innovative covers of that song
Hey, thanks.
I've ever heard. Because it was, it got kind of effed out for a while.
Yeah.
It was like on American Idol and stuff.
What do you mean after? Oh, the people just like
Yeah, just bastardized
overdoing
that
song.
Leonard Cohen song. But you did it in a totally new way.
Thanks, man.
And that's not an easy song to take on. That's
This is
that's Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah.
I was in Canada and went to a karaoke bar, and like I was like, oh yeah, Hallelujah.
Yeah.
I put it on, and it's like a whole book of different lyrics. There's like
There's a lot of
30
lyrics.
verses.
Yeah.
I'd never heard, and I think I'd heard the Buckley version of it, which is all the sweet verses, but there's a lot of like really intense like Catholic upbringing kind of like it was interesting. 'Cause I'm like singing it in the karaoke bar. I'm like, I don't know any of like, so I just sang along, like pretended like it was cool, but it was a weird moment, because I was just like, oh, there's a song here that I didn't know was here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier that you were just kind of responding to the master of the universe.
Yeah.
And your life kind of synced up for moments and then has kind of deteriorated in different ways and then synced back up.
I think have you ever read the poem Footsteps in the Sand?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think that my life deteriorated. I think that I needed to go through some BS of my own making in order to
Yeah.
But I think it all has happened pretty perfectly according to some higher plan. It's just been worked out it's just worked out.
Do you have that perspective now? Because I feel like in my moments of naivete, like my experiences with megachurches and other smaller churches and different parachurch organizations led me to kind of think that I was on like a divine, track.
Yeah.
To sing.
Okay.
Or to like perform.
Sure.
And, I go back and forth between thinking like, is that a egocentric pursuit? Am I doing it for the right reasons? Whatever. But all that to say, I don't have that perspective where I can look back and say, oh, I understand why I had to go through that, or I understand. I still just feel like it's confusing, but it's like all I know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, well, I don't want to confuse. We're talking about two things.
Okay, hit me.
Well, there's church and religion.
Sure.
And that world wherein I felt very guilty about being a musician because I'm
at church.
Just, through that lens.
Right.
Because my songs weren't, praising the Lord, and a lot of it was like me sort of wanting to be a star.
Right.
And that's evil, right?
In that setting, yeah.
Yeah, and I think anytime I start confusing that and what you just sort of referred to as the master of the universe, not He-Man, but, the real master of the
or
universe.
Aziz. It's not Aziz either. Netflix. You just mentioned your affinity for Netflix and making bone broth at home and watching Netflix.
Making some bone broth and watching some Netflix. Hey, you want on Netflix and bone broth with me?
But I haven't watched Aziz's new Master of None. I got a little annoyed at one of the episodes because it was like being on a date with him, and I don't want to go on a date with Aziz.
I haven't spent a lot of time with Aziz at all, and that's partly because I think I saw him on some sitcom that my wife was watching. I was like, I don't
Parks
get
and
it.
Rec.
Yeah.
Right,
she watched a lot of Parks and Rec.
I've heard it's a funny show.
It's a funny show.
I've never seen it, but I've heard it's a funny show.
Yeah, it is a funny show.
All right, so the master of the universe, not He-Man. You're just trying to figure it out. Figure it out, get in sync, be present.
When I was a kid, my real dad left before I was born, and my mom would say, God's your dad. Go out in the backyard and play with your dad.
That's fucking trippy. I mean, it's cool, but whatever. It's trippy, right?
Yeah. That's a lot.
Yes.
That's a lot to put on a kid.
You're like, God, hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would like go out and like consciously sort of like, like dig in the dirt and look at the sky and like.
But that's like
and
the
try
right way
and
to interpret that.
spend time with.
That's the right way to interpret that. How did you? That's
yeah.
incredible that you like had a perspective where you could like the dirt, and you're like, I'm on point right now. I'm doing what she asked me to do.
Yeah, and through those experiences, developed a really, I like have conversations with that.
Yeah.
That I feel like are two-way conversations, like
Yeah.
with a voice that I'm making up in my head.
Right.
That I'm not. I
Right.
don't believe that I am. I think that I'm hearing
Yeah.
the divine.
Yeah.
And I'm very capable of misinterpreting that and screwing it up.
Sure.
Especially if I'm high on meth.
would-
God's telling me to glue these Barbie dolls together. Like, what?
That seems like it would make it more confusing.
Yeah. It does sort of like...
Distort the lens a
Yeah,
little
it's
bit.
like, what? Was that me or my balls?
His Barbie dolls are pretty though.
I'm really going to help some people out. This is going to heal a lot of people's inner thing.
I want you all to meet Hydra Barbie.
God told me to make her.
Don't take your eyes away from Hydra Barbie. Okay, well, how do you interact with that sort of centering voice now, and how does that interact with the current incarnations of Motopony?
Yeah. I try to meditate every day. And I'm, probably 85, 95% successful with that.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is me just...
Okay, so when in college, when I would take a day and I would just go sit under this tree and I would just let my thoughts tire themselves out.
Uh-huh.
Do you have a more conscious thing in your meditation? Do you breathe?
Yeah, for a while I was just listening to the tinnitus.
What?
You know what tinnitus is?
Like tinnitus, like that?
The ringing in your ears from
Oh, yeah. You have
standing
that?
next to amplifiers.
You have that?
Yeah, and it's different tones in either ear, so... And it's not an actual sound that's happening, right? So... But your brain is interpreting it as a sound, and so I would chase that to the hearing center in my brain.
Yeah.
And realize, and like, let myself in on the secret that that's not actually a sound that's happening.
Right.
But there's like something, and so I'd hang out in that hearing place. And I think
it's kind of like the way that I interact with my Sonicare.
a lot of like, yeah, probably. I think a lot of like,
although that's an actual, note, right?
like,
It's like a C something.
when you hit a tooth and it's like,
Maybe because the rest of the time you're just holding it in the air, letting it spray all over your face.
When you hit a tooth,
Because the rest of the time you're just massaging your gums with it. You're just running it all over the palms of your hands.
It's clean as a sound. Like just hold my mouth open with it in front of my head. Just let the sound heal my teeth. No, when you hit the plastic part, like the back of the brush on a tooth.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
Oh. Anyway,
Yeah. Okay. So you find a place with the tinnitus.
yeah. Ultimately, this is just me.
Yeah. But it's your
forcing my
interpretation,
brain to focus
Yeah.
on one thing,
Yeah.
so that it does like shut up, right?
Yeah.
And then after I've done that for half an hour,
Yeah.
I'm in for whatever theta delta gamma brainwave place,
You just took
and
a
I'm
sh-
like,
you just took a
I'm
shot
out
of
of my
bone
body.
broth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm out of my body.
Yeah.
So, I haven't done that in a while, but I was like diligently listening to my tinnitus for like a year.
That's cool.
Yeah. Because it was working,
Yeah.
because it was working. It was just like gave me something to focus on, and an
Yeah.
ADD brain like needs,
For sure.
this telephone video game all the time. I'm like sitting here massaging my phone since I can't play with it. I gotta like talk to you, so I'm just gonna hold it.
Yeah.
But now I just lay on my back, and I in Savasana for all you yogis out there, and I try to put my palms up for whatever reason, like me telling my body this position is like, this is how we get there.
Yeah.
And then I walk through a mantra that is just like, you know, it's got 9 stages, and it's like, it sort of like passes through my whole body.
Mm-hmm.
So I like put on this invisible armor, you know.
That's cool.
Then it's helping me to focus on the different chakra nodes. I suppose there's like many ways you could interpret that. And then, but through that, I'm like retelling myself an identity story. That's like it's very just centering and grounding.
Yeah.
And then I just try to shut up and like listen to what have you.
Yeah.
Or bring a question. You know, since I've been sober, I've like done a lot less of like, hey, would you please like, you know, make the record company, you know, I'd stop requesting direct, because I don't want to influence what can be when I let go of it, you know?
I don't understand.
My desire is great.
Yeah.
It's very large and driving.
Yeah.
But it's also the problem.
Sure.
Because I grab that desire by the horns and I manhandle it into, I control it. I want to control the outcome. And I want it to look like I imagined it at that 19-year-old boy.
Yeah.
You know? And I can't actually control the universe.
Right.
But my desire wants to do that. And so I hold that desire in one hand and I'm like, here it is. You know, I'm hungry because I actually think I was made with that desire. And in the other hand, I say, you know, I release these steps.
Right.
Like, I don't know what's next. I don't know who, you know, am I supposed to hire this person? Yes or no?
Yeah.
I'll ask those kinds of questions.
Sure.
You know, should I get rid of this piece of this puzzle?
Yeah.
It feels like it's in the way. You know, I'm like diligently like, trying to figure it out. And what confuses me, I bring to the table.
That's cool.
But I think I just am spending a lot of time just trying to love people and be satisfied with good relationships in my life.
Yeah.
I think I kind of have a lot of making up to do for like a lot of really selfish, you know, years in there. So,
well, when you do, you know, get a glimpse of feeling centered, after that period of meditating, how are, like, I guess all I'm asking is, what are you excited about now in the current incarnation of Motopony?
Man, it's that, I don't know what it's like for you, but there's a moment on stage where my feet aren't touching the ground.
Sure.
And I'm not worried about anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and it's like, it's crazy. Sometimes you're like almost like on the verge of tears, or like you're just like,
and that fullness of being, and the knowledge of that whatever is coming through me wants it. Otherwise it wouldn't. Because I have no control over it.
Right.
I can't make it come. So the fact that it's pouring out of me, and these people are opening themselves to it and receiving that, like, is proof enough for me of the existence of a higher power that cares for me and has given me the desires that have led me to this moment where I'm being fulfilled. Those desires are being fulfilled.
Yeah.
And I'm the most excited about getting to share that moment.
Yeah.
And I'm less concerned with, you know, if Pitchfork gives a flying fuck about me.
Right.
You know, maybe that's the right attitude to have towards them, but like, review it, don't, just give me that, let me have this moment. You know, I want enough success so that people show up and share that with me, and it feels good and the room is there.
Right.
And I had it at the Bartlett in Spokane.
That's a great venue.
You know? And it's like, it was just like, you know, that's what I like. It fills me with such joy to even imagine that I get to do that with my life. And I don't need whiskey and Adderall and marijuana and mushrooms and trucker dick pills to like get there. It's really actually pretty wonderful that like
No, it's incredible.
a couple of corn chips and some bone broth, you
Yeah.
know, like just treating my body well and getting sleep,
Yeah.
and that's all I got to do,
Yeah.
and like exercise my voice now and then, and
Yeah.
love people, and like that's the fucking secret. Like, it doesn't require a chemical cocktail.
Yeah. And I don't know. And it's different every time. And sometimes it doesn't happen. And sometimes you are chasing it. And sometimes it's elusive in a different way. But every time it's interesting and it's an incredible experience. You know, it's like, it is rare. I don't know. It is like amazing that we get to touch something that's transcendent like that.
Yeah. I don't.
It's good. But I mean, do you feel like in your recent, because you guys have played one show in the new band, or more than one?
Oh, it's probably like 5 or 6.
Been 5?
5 now, maybe.
Have they
6.
all been local? Or you
No,
did-
we went to Portland. We went to Spokane. I mean, local and
Yeah, but they also regional.
Yeah, they've all been regional.
Cool.
Yeah, we're gonna go to Chicago.
Crazy.
I think in October. Our new co-manager is out there,
That's awesome.
so we're gonna do some of that. And
We're going to be in Chicago in October, right?
really.
Okay.
Ooh. I'll see if I can fit you in on some of these bills. We're getting really
Yeah.
good bills.
Cool.
So, and I think we're kind of making them up as we go along. So
Cool.
yeah, that's good to know. And then I think we're gonna do San Francisco. We're flying from San Francisco to Chicago, which is weird, but
Okay. Boing, boing.
And then beyond that, I think we're just getting this record packed up and
Cool.
hoping to release it around South by.
Cool.
Yeah,
So you already have a record in the bag.
yeah.
And this is different than the solo record you made. Did that ever see the light of day?
So solo record I made, I went to London for the second time in
This is
July
the
of
London
last
Bridge part.
year. This is Abbey Road.
I'm sorry, what did I say?
London Bridge. Yeah.
Is
London
that's the
Bridge
studio,
is
it's here, right?
Yeah. It's like
Sorry.
in between here and the
Keep
mall.
going.
But
Abbey Road.
at Abbey Road. Yeah, which was unique. I started at Abbey Road. I finished at a place called Tile Yard.
Where's that? That's also in England.
Also in London, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, after those shows that I played solo, I was like, I don't want to do it
Right.
solo. So I was like, I'm going to build a band.
Cool.
So I started like building a band and was like, why am I going to redo the 20,000 Facebook followers that I've got? That's going to take
Right.
a long time.
Yeah.
Why didn't I just call it Motopony? And so then I
Right.
reached out to Nodder and, Forrest and was like, you guys, I'm doing Motopony. And they were like, okay. Like, yeah, it's not really how it works.
Right.
And I was like, okay, well, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And then, that it felt right. Like I
Yeah.
really checked in
Cool.
and it felt like, yeah, this isn't done. And
That's great.
then people just sort of appeared.
Can we rewind a little bit? Do you want to tell any anecdotes from Abbey Road?
Yeah.
Anything sexy about it? The gear or the guy or
Let's
the
get to that.
vibe or
Let's get to that. But the question really is what happened to the solo record?
sure.
So I built this band. We started playing those songs and I was just like, we're just going to call it Motopony. And the band
Cool.
was kind of like, yeah, this feels like a solo record.
Hmm.
So let's add some band to it. So
Yeah.
we went to a studio in Tacoma with those stems and added stuff to it.
Right on.
And then the producer in London was kind of like, yeah, not my thing. I was like, okay, what do I do?
So did he let you have those songs or no?
Well, I mean, they were my songs,
Okay.
but I can't use the stuff that he recorded.
Right. So you had
So
to
everything
start over.
we started over.
Yeah.
Same, yeah. Which was like, that was a big decision. That was when I took
Yeah. That's a lot of work.
upstairs.
So now Abbey Road's kind of been totally soiled.
It's not soiled, and in fact, I think that those recordings will stand as a crazy, version of the record we're about to put out.
Okay,
I
cool.
think they'll actually have some life, especially like in sync and publishing world.
Sure.
Like it's got a cool sound to it. I really, really like it.
Cool.
It's very Daniel Solo at
Okay.
Abbey Road. It's just not
Right.
Motopony.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
So like, are there any sort of musical touch points that people can enter into in expectation for the record that'll come out?
It's a lot
early
like
next
this
year.
band, Pit Quick. We really like. There's this band.
It's like kind of funky. These dorky guys are just kind of funky, but it's weird that they're funky. But
took the word right out of my mouth. Yeah, we're going for a real rock and soul funk.
but like, come on, like, is it like psychedelic? Your shit's been like pretty glossy, beautiful. It's like
it's closer to the first record than
like kind of in a chill kind of way
than the second one. I think it's like there were songs written with the 3-string like the first record.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
And then a band sort of built around that with a lot more synth and
fun.
Whereas the second record, I had 2 lead guitar players, and Forrest was like moving into this very like heavy duty John Bonham kind of territory, where like which I love, but it's different. I've like rocked back to, what I knew when I was writing the first record, which was kind of me on the 3-string. So
cool.
It's sweeter. There are some very like heavy, dark tracks on it though. There's a song called Valley of Witches, which is just straight demonic, and then there's another song called Casey Be Runnin', which I've really no idea how we wrote. It's so dark.
Who's Casey?
A friend of mine. He's a videographer I worked with. Casey and I made the Chris Orlowski video for Believer and Noah Gunderson video for Cigarettes, and made a video for Joseph, band Joseph.
Wow.
He was my director partner. We had an outfit called Ransom and Reason. But he moved to San Juan Island.
What's he looking for out there? Did he find it?
Well, I mean, he's looking
Casey,
for what everybody's looking for.
Casey Be Running.
He's looking for what everybody's looking for.
There's only one word that's coming to mind, but I'm not going to say it.
Just say it. What are you looking for?
Well, it's just a euphemism for a vagina.
I don't really know how I refer to that body part other than a vagina. Yeah.
You say
I have a classy wife.
The full proud word.
Yeah. I have a classy wife.
Well, either way,
Yoni, I think is a great sort of like
in pursuit
easy,
of the yoni.
Yeah.
Yoni. I don't know, it doesn't have the same ring to it for me. But man, if you have the power, what's the word you said? Imbue? If you imbue the word with the power, then it's the same power of what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, imbuing words with power is straight witchcraft, bro. Like we're spell casting at this
Rattling
point.
them bones.
Rattling them bones.
In your hot apartment.
My really overly heated, tiny. Our apartment is the size of this room, and for those of you listening, like I can touch both walls with my hands. It's a small place.
Yeah.
So it was hot in there. And smelled of bone. I'm not gonna say I wasn't getting turned on while I was cooking in my underwear.
Okay, now that we've totally disassembled this entire podcast into nothingness. I'm sorry.
Your fault.
I'm sorry. You set me up, man. You were like, what are we all in pursuit? What are we all searching for?
I think we're searching for belonging. And I think vagina can really help you feel like you're belonging.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or me. It helps me to feel like I belong.
Yeah.
When someone's allowing that type of intimacy, I think there's like not really much more belonging than that.
Yeah.
You have children though, so I mean I'm sure there's a sense of belonging when you have your own family that's different.
Then what?
Me growing up without a dad. I don't think I've ever had a family. Like, somebody was talking about family, and I was like, oh, yeah, people have those.
Yeah.
But
the stepdad
he's a wonderful man.
And the lawnmower.
And the lawnmower.
That's something.
He taught me so much, and I really value what he brought me to my life.
How old were you when he showed up?
18 months. So he's my dad.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say I don't have a dad. That's not fair to him.
But I hear what you're saying. I know what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
Can you hear those sirens?
That's a deep siren, man.
Yeah. Have you been to New York recently?
That was a creepy siren. No, I haven't, but we'll be there in October.
There are these new cop cars that have a new kind of siren.
And?
It's like a very low, kind of sound that's like hits you, and it's like
Like a
sonic
terrifying.
warfare.
Yeah, yeah.
It hits you really funny, and then there's the exact same sound, but like several octaves up, like in siren territory.
Together.
And they just like, it creates this field that you like perceive with your body. And it's like,
Jeez.
rather than, it's like, but like with this sub octave underneath it. It is so scary, man. It's so alien and like visceral. Like
Jesus.
Some engineer designed this to like scare you.
That's a tinnitus Sonicare from hell, man.
Yeah, it's a Sonicare.
From hell.
Sona don't care. From hell.
All right. Well, in the intro, I'll say all this stuff about when your single comes out.
Sure.
But you are playing a show July 21 at the Tractor. It's a
Yeah.
Friday night
Yeah.
with a new band.
New band.
But I mean, how new? It's been within the last, what?
We've been working hard
6 months or
for
a year.
like 9 months.
I mean,
probably,
everybody,
yeah.
they were all there recording and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's like, new to me, but not
Yeah.
that new.
We've been after it, man. Yeah, probably a good 9 months.
Yeah. And I know that Tim is playing guitar with you.
Timothy Robert
Who I
Graham.
gave a couple voice lessons to.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, that's nice. of
When
you.
I came back maybe 4 years ago, I mean, he paid me for it.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, well, he paid me for it. He's a cool voice.
He's a good kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you could pick cast a Patronus, what would it be?
Oh, so I did the thing with my kids. I did the Patronus thing, where we answer all the questions online.
I didn't know there was. Wow,
There
now
is.
it's-
You can answer all the questions. It tells you what your Patronus is.
Oh, what'd you get?
Dolphin. Is that a bad Patronus?
No, it's perfect. It is the perfect
That's what I got.
Patronus for you.
You know what house I'm in? You know what house I'm in?
What? Hufflepuff? Gryffindor?
Gryffindor.
Yeah.
I
You're
was-
a good guy.
I was in Gryffindor.
Yeah.
And I think that was maybe all I remember. There were some other questions.
I want to take it.
You should do it
I'm
online.
kind of scared
Should
that I'm
do it
going to
at
be
home.
like, my Patronus is a basilisk and I'm Slytherin.
My son's Slytherin. Yeah, because a lot of
The
the
apnea.
kind of knocks him down. He's real consumed with like the fairness.
Ah.
You know what I mean? Like if somebody doesn't get a fair shot, or like he's just real vigilant, or if someone's cheating, he's just like. And there were a bunch of questions.
Justice.
Yeah, there were a bunch of questions like that about justice, and I think that led him to Slytherin.
Interesting.
That's my impression anyway.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
It's not a bad house.
It seems bad.
Well, so does the devil.
Yeah. but what? He's not that bad. He's actually a pretty chill hang.
No, I'm just thinking of other things that seem bad. Actually, a pretty chill hang. You ever hung with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Yeah, man, I love that line. I say that to him all the time.
You ever dance with the devil? It's a great line.
You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
You're just like, what?
I'm just in a van with you. Why are you talking to me like that? So you got this July 21. You got the Tractor with your band that you recorded the Rector.
I recorded my rectum with.
Recorded your Rector. The Rector set. July 21st at the Tractor Tavern. Motopony headlining. Kelly Schaefer from Portland. I'm a huge fan of hers.
Yeah.
We'll also be playing. It's a Friday night. Get your tickets now. And this is with the band that you recorded the record with.
Yeah.
Which we can expect and we're excited about first quarter next year, 2018.
We're hoping so, yeah. And we released a single from that record.
In August, on the 25th,
The 25th of
called
August.
When We Were Young.
Yeah.
You're just going to pump that online? You're going to do anything physical?
I don't have a physical plan. That's a lot for one song. We're going to put out another song in October directly after that.
Cool.
Called Free, but it won't be free unless, you get it for free.
Yeah.
I won't tell you how,
Yeah.
but there are ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man. So you're...
That's it. And on the 21st, we're playing with a band called General Mojo's 'S and Kelly Schaefer, which is very exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe I didn't give you quite the opportunity but like, is there anything sort of a musical touch point or just some way to describe how you're excited about the new stuff you're making to end?
Yeah, we're I make everybody be sober,
Okay.
or ask them to,
Yeah.
in order to be a part of the project. I was like, look, here's the deal. And then we sit, before every practice, we try to sit and we like pass around a stick of Palo Santo and like talk about our feelings.
Yeah, dude. We've done Palo Santo in the van.
And I feel like that vibe is like way more conducive to me getting to that place that I want to get to that we talked about.
Yeah.
When like I'm energetically clear with my mates who are helping me make this music.
Yeah.
And I've taken some time to like, you know, do the work of the relationships, and I'm sober and they're sober and I can count on that.
Yeah.
I feel like all that put together has led us to these like, it's a very rapid, you know, I feel like all the cards are aligned. So if the Great Spirit would like to show up,
yeah,
we're ready.
But I mean, that's cool
for that to happen.
Maybe if everybody individually is not like an open vessel, at least you're all like aligned.
Yeah,
you know,
and in agreement. And I've told them like, hey, this is what I'm after, and so you need to sort of be willing for me to go there. Because I've definitely been in bands in the past where it was like people were kind of too cool for that.
Yeah.
And didn't feel comfortable with that, or just like it made them kind of freaked out that I like get a little possessed and lose it, you know? So, yeah. I'm excited because these guys know that that's the deal. I've been very honest with them.
Yeah.
And they're like supportive of it.
Yeah.
And that's exciting. That's a whole sort of almost fantasy in and of itself.
Yeah.
That there's not conflict and I'm not fighting for it from my guys, you know, like that everybody's like cool with the deal.
Well, that's intriguing.
Yeah.
I think that's incentive enough for people to come see you.
Okay, good. Hopefully that sells it.
If not, maybe they have no lifeblood inside them and they should just...
Maybe they need to fucking stop kissing the Dementors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Suck it out.
What? It's getting late.
That's what the Dementors do. They suck out.
They suck it out. It's exactly it's right.
That's perfect. That's perfect. That's a lot of soul, man. You can fade that shit out, right?